Okay, so can you now see my screen well? I'm sharing the screen, so can you see it? Okay, so can you now see my screen well?
Yes, we do.
I'm sharing the screen, so can you see it? Okay, so can you now see my screen well?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I'm
sharing the screen, so can you see it?
Excuse me, can you, Mr. Ikram, can you, or Dr. Ikram, can you ask everyone to unmute their or mute their microphones?
Yes,
Because
yeah, there are two microphones, so. Okay, طيب السلام عليكم. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, today, inshallah, we will be talking about TMAC. How do I deal with large classes as a teacher or university professor? So today we will be shedding the lights on the so-called teaching TMAC. TMAC is an acronym, okay, or yeah, it's not abbreviation, but let me say it as an acronym for teaching mixed ability classes. So we are going to start right away. Okay, teaching mixed ability classes, as you know, that is an issue. And here the fallacy of teaching the mixed ability classes. Here we go. This is related to the last session that we gave when talking about the differentiated instructions. So when we are talking about the differentiated instructions, we talk about one size fits all. One size fits all. Okay, I'm sure he will fit. So if we are talking about this, that as a teacher or a university professor that thinks that this way will work, but it turns out that this way will not work in the arena of teaching. So we will be talking about this in more detail, and we're going to see this fallacy. So here are the objective. Okay, by the end of this session, you should be, or we should be able to, yes, master the following. Okay, the first thing that we would need to master is identifying the features of mixability classes. Identify at least one method, okay, of instruction that can suit, okay, or be adequate to mixability classes. So this is TMAC, TMAC, teaching mixability classes. Okay, when talking about mixability classes, we have to understand that we are talking about adjusting student to match learning, this one, or we are talking about adjusting learning to match the students. So these are very argumentative and debatable question or a statement. So if there's a chance for discussion, it will be at the end of this session. So I will be glad to hear your voices when talking about this session. I mean, this session title, which is teaching mixability classes and or large classes generally. Yes, and I talk about this someday, but don't get me wrong when we are talking about Karl Marx, okay, those the founding fathers of Marxism. But here I'm not talking about him, but I will be talking about this. From each, this quotes, okay, from him. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. So we are talking about abilities and needs, and how are we going to meet these needs, okay, to meet them or to match them. These things can be met by together, everyone, together, everyone achieves more. So here when we are talking about team, so let's team up, okay, and let's collaborate and work together. And this is one of the forces of 21st century. So collaboration, so let's work collaboratively. Okay, here the question, what is meant by mixability class? What do I mean, or what's meant when we are talking about semantic and pragmatic? Because when you are talking about what does X mean and what do we mean by X or Z or Y or whatever. So here, mixability classes, what is meant? Right? Average and weak. And for me, sometimes I don't prefer to use this word, the last word, which is weak. Those who are weak, actually, because they according to psychologists and psycholinguists, they think that this word is a bit offensive, sorry, or insulting, in other words. Okay, so you can tell this one as who is weak. You need to tell him that these areas need to be enhanced, or these areas need to be addressed, okay? But tell him the weak upfront sometimes is a bit harsh. In terms of what? Okay, the IQ, okay? Or in terms of motivation, and actually we talk about this, and in Sudan we do recognize Professor Busayri, may Allah bless him, okay, who came up with the idea of initial motivation, okay, this theory. So when talking about motivation and incentive motivation, are the students are really motivated? This is a question. This number one. Number two, when talking about motivation itself can be divided into two. Okay, so is it integral motivation or instrumental motivation, or they are mixture as made by Professor Busayri? Okay, integral motivation. Okay. So in terms of IQ motivation, so when talking about this, for example, the normal greeting, hola, hello, hi, bonjour, ciao, okay, and so on. So let's talk about this in terms of aptitude, the natural ability, the aptitude and the attitude, the natural ability to acquire or to learn the language, and so on. Yeah, when talking about the negative attitude and the positive attitude, yeah, so which one? Okay, let's think. Let us think a bit deeper. Okay. When talking about mixability classes, we have to bear or to take into our own consideration or our mind that we are going to look at, okay, learning styles. Number two, we are going to shed the lights on learning strategies. Number three, where we will be talking about HOTS, okay, or HOTS. But HOTS, okay, as high order thinking skills. And then number four, we will be talking about the 4 C's. The 4 C's of the 21st century skills. And last issue that we will be addressing is that the assessment, okay, whether they are formative, informative, summative, diagnostic, and so on. So let's begin with the first one. Learning, yes, styles. Okay, when talking about this, mimetic, visual, social, solitary, oral, visual, logical, verbal, physical. So let's talk about them in detail. Look at this tree. And this is remind us Noam Chomsky when you're talking about the grammatical or the syntactic structure when talking about tree diagram. So we are going to look at this tree diagram, and we can see that here when we are talking about the style, learning style, the first one we have visual, okay, using visual like images, pictures, or colors. When we're talking about oral, we are talking about using this either to be music or sound. When talking about verbal, we're talking about words, speech, and so on. When we're talking about physical, body, okay, hands, and so on. And here we have solitary through self-study, okay. When we are talking about social, working, teamwork, working together and groups. Here, when we are talking about logical, reasoning, and logic. So the first one is visual, okay? Then we have oral, verbal, physical, solitary, social, logical. So these are the learning styles that we'll be talking about them. Learning styles or style, the theory proposes that different people learn in different ways, okay? And that is good to know what your own preferred learning style is, okay? And let's think about this in other word or different way. So learning styles are simply put various approaches or ways of learning They involve educating methods, a particular, yes, to an individual, okay, that are presumed to allow that individual to learn best. So this will be the best way for them to learn. It is commonly believed that most people favor some particular method of interacting with, taking in, and processing stimuli, okay, or information. So it has been proposed that teachers should assess the learning styles of their students and adapt their classroom method to best fit each student's learning style, If the learner used or uses phrases like this, so we can be talking about this in more detail, I mean in minute details. So here are examples, okay, of this learner, okay? Let's look at it differently. Let's look, okay? I never forget a face. If a student or a student told you so think about it. Which style may be best suiting him, okay, or suit him? I can't quite, okay, picture it. Or let's draw a diagram or map, okay? This is visual. We have to understand that, or we ought to understand that this is a visual student, has a visual learning style. This is another one. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Or tune in to what I'm saying. That's music to my ears. That music to my ears. Or that rings a bell. That rings a bell. So who is this type of learning style or student? Is auditory. Okay, auditory. So someone who listens quite a lot. If the learner used or uses, okay, yes, phrases like this, tell me word for word. Tell me word for word. Or, I hear you, but I'm not sure I agree. I hear you, but I'm not quite sure, or I'm not sure that I agree. Let me spell it out for you. The word you're looking for is, so this is verbal style, verbal student. Okay, let's think about this. I can't get this grip on this, or that doesn't ride with me. That doesn't ride with me, or stay in touch. Stay in touch. Or the last phrase is, I follow your drift. I follow your drift. Kinesthetic, okay, is just kinesthetic when talking about somebody feels something or touches something that's tangible for him or concrete for them. Yes, if the learner, your student or a learner used or uses phrases like this or sentences like this, that's logical. That's logical. Or let's make a list. Make a list. We can work it out. We can work it out. There's no pattern to this. There's no pattern to this. So who or what kind of their learning style your student is, it must be a logical one, logical style. Okay, this is another word. Okay, let's work together on this Let's work together on this. Or your student may tell you, or your learner may tell you, tell me what you are thinking. Tell me what you are thinking. Or let's pull some people together to discuss. Let's make it a discussion, okay? A whole discussion. Or let's explore our options. Okay, so if the student frequently says this, you have to know that. What kind of style is he or is she? Okay, so because we are touching toe, which is called sexism, gender based. So his or she is a social one. Look at this. If the learner used or uses this quite a lot, okay, I'd like some time to think over. Or I'd like to get away from everyone for a while. I would like to be aloof, or in other words, a bit distant, okay? But it says that no man is an island, yeah? No man is an island. Or I'll get back to you on that. Or the last one, as you can see here, is this is what I'm think or feel about. This is what I'm think or feel about. So this is solitary, okay? Or from solo and soloist and so on. Yes. Been there, seen it, done it. What about this? Can we fix it? Can we fix it? Yes, we can. And this is remind us Barack Obama. Yes, we can. Okay, read all about it. Read all about it. I'll think about it. So when we are recapping this, yeah, the learning styles. So here is the question. The question assumes itself and think about what's your learning style, so we can tell either to be tactile, okay, or auditory, visual. You can learn more about this test. This is a test. So your student, you can share this with a student, and then you know that sharing is caring. When you share this with your student, actually, you do care about that. So here's this link, so you can find a test for your own style, okay, or your student style. Let's think about other way, okay, or let's move on to the next issue that will be addressed or will be handling together this time, which is learning strategies, okay. Thinking cap, here we can learn that about these things when we're talking about the okay, learning strategies is a term referring to the processes and actions that are consciously deployed by language learners to help them to learn or use the language more effectively. In 1990, yes, O'Malley and Chamet, okay, developed a classification of 3 types of language learning strategies So we will be shedding or talking about them. Here are they. Yeah, the first strategy that we will be talking about is metacognitive strategy. Okay, and nowadays the word is shifting from this learning physically or online, I mean virtual learning. There will be a metaverse. This is will be soon, inshallah, in the field of teaching and so on and so forth. So when talking about megacognitive, and when we're talking about cognitive, we talk about the mental issues, okay, or relating to the brain and to the mind, and we're talking about the like the cognitive verbs, okay, thinking and so on. I think and I feel and so. Okay, when talking about the cognitive strategies which involved thinking about or knowledge of. I mean, when talking about the epistemic machine, which is existing in our brain, okay, that's deal with epistemology, okay, the knowledge, the learning process of, okay, planning for learning, monitoring, learning while it's taking place, or self-evaluation of learning after the task had been completed, okay. So this one talking about the metacognitive strategy. Yes. Cognitive strategies. So we have the meta and the cognitive, okay. Cognitive strategy will involve mental manipulation or transformation of material or tasks intended to enhance comprehension, acquisition, or retention. So these are three keywords like comprehension, okay, acquisition, and or retention. The third and the last one is social or affective strategy. The social or affective strategy. Social affective strategies, which consisted of using social interactions to assist in comprehension, learning, or retention of information, as well as the mental control over a personal affect that interfered with learning. Okay. Think about this. Also in 1990, the same year, okay, Rebecca Oxford developed a taxonomy like that taxonomy, which is known nowadays by Bloom taxonomy, okay, classification, okay, for categorizing strategies under 6 headings. So we'll be talking about this. Cognitive. Making associations between new and already known information. So you associate them or you link them. Mnemonic. Making associations between new and already known information. So use of formula, phrases or phrase, verse, or the like. Metacognitive. Controlling on cognition through the coordination of the planning, organization, and evaluation of the learning process. Number 4 is compensatory. Okay. Using context or context to make up for missing information in reading and writing. And yes, affective. Regulation of emotions, okay? Regulation of emotions motivation and attitude toward learning. And the last one is social. The interaction with other learners to improve language learning and cultural understanding. Okay, yes, this one talking about learning strategies. Let's shift on the so-called HOTS, okay? High order thinking skills. What are they? Okay, we have create, evaluate, and analyze. And then we have apply, understand, and remember. So we have HOTS and LOTS. LOTS refers back to low, okay? Low order thinking skills, okay? So these are the high. When a student can create, can evaluate, and analyze. Creating, evaluating, analyzing, and we have applying, understanding, and remembering. Okay. This is Bloom taxonomy. So these three are called, or this four, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, high order thinking skills. When talking about the high order thinking skills, whereas the understanding and remembering or memorization and recalling information is low order thinking skills. Okay, can the student recall? Yes. Or remember the information? Can the student explain ideas or concepts? Classify. So these are the verb according to the Bloom taxonomy, the verbs that he uses or he used. Okay. Apply. Can the student use the information in a new way? Yes, like choose, demonstrate, dramatize, employ, illustrate, interpret, or operate, schedule, sketch, solve, use, write. Analyzing or analyzing. Can the student distinguish between the different parts? Okay, like this. Appraise, compare, contrast, criticize, differentiate, discriminate, distinguish, examine, experiment, question, okay, and test. Can the student justify or a stand or decision? Yeah, praise, argue, defend, judge, select, support, value, evaluate. And the highest one is, can the student create new product or point of view, which is, yeah, these are the verbs: assemble, construct, create, design, develop, formulate, and write. So this is the high order. 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are the low order. Let's wind up our session by talking about the, this is the before the last one. So we will be talking about the 4 C's, 21st, and then of the 21st century skills, and then we'll be talking about assessment. So 21st century skills, 4 C's, or the 4 C's of 21st century skills. The first one is communication and the language, whatsoever language might gonna be, whether it's verbal or non-verbal, okay, deals with communication, what is, or as Ferdinand de Saussure call it, semiotic, okay. Yes, collaboration, working together, and this is called cooperative learning, when you cooperate or you work in collaboration with your student, okay. Critical thinking. And creativity. So critical thinking and creativity. So to create and to come up with new ideas, new solutions, and so on. Critical thinking and problem solving. So here we're going to master them. Collaboration, working together to reach a goal, putting talent, experts, and or expertise and smarts. Communication, sharing thoughts, questions, ideas, and solutions. Critical thinking, looking at problem, okay, in a new way, linking learning across subjects and disciplines. And the last one is trying new approaches to get things done, equals or innovation and invention. The last thing that I will be handling with, okay, is, or I will be tackling, is assessment. Yeah, so a pre-assessment, while, during assessment, and a post or after the assessment. So we have a summative, formative. Okay, formative assessment to improve learning, formative, while summative, okay, assessment to grade student, and this at the end of the semester, or by the end, or at the end of the module. Okay, we have while, judgmental, and developmental. Yeah, and then we have formal and informal tests. Quizzes, it can be in terms of test, quizzes, and in terms of portfolios, okay. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for listening. This is what I shared with you today. So yes. So I'm here if there's any question to be asked, or if you have anything. That's all for now, and thank you for listening. I'm so delighted and glad that you are here attending this session.
دكتور أكرم السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله, Dr. Khalid.
Hi, thank you so much for this interesting
thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Yes.
Also,
yes.
Also, I'm so pleased to see you here.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
I have a question. It might be, this question could be maybe far a bit from the discussion, like
yes.
You talk about the styles, learning styles, and learning strategies. And we have another term, learning methodology.
Yes.
Those the three terms or concepts are quite extent could be make some sort of confusion.
Okay.
Yes, or overlapping.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe for some learner, even for some teachers.
Yes.
So if it is possible, I will be so grateful if you could give us, I don't think that it could be any clear cut definitions, but just a matter of discussion to make it clear for me and for others.
Okay, thank you.
How can we differentiate between learning styles, learning strategies, and learning methodology?
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Dr. Khalid. This is just making the discussions very warm, okay, warmer, because we are in the freaking cold winter. So thank you for making this discussion very hot. When talking about these terms, actually, as you mentioned, there are terms, and but there's difference or a slight difference among these terms, okay? For example, when we are talking about twins in Arabic or in English or whatsoever language may gonna be, we do know that we sense deeply in our bones that there's no identical twin or identical synonyms if we are talking about synonyms when talking about semantic. Do you agree with that, Dr. Khalid?
Yes, yes.
So
whenever you
when
talk
talking about
Dr.
this,
Busayri, then definitely we should mention semantics.
yeah. Okay, so when talking about this, learning styles, yeah, because you're gonna see which style that best for the student. So when talking about the learning style, and style is totally different from charisma or characteristics. This in one word. In other words, when talking about approach, yeah, it's less than style, and the word approach, okay, is less than strategy, because strategy encompasses all these words. So it is the bigger and the wider umbrella is a strategy to be followed. That as far as I know, because some others may reject or confirm what I'm saying. So if I get your question well and I answer based on that. So when talking about learning approach and style, so style is yeah, a bit different and is less than the word approach, okay. And when we are talking about the strategy is wider in terms of concept and meaning than the word strategy.
Yes.
The word approach, sorry. Yes, this is as far as I know. But correct me if I'm wrong, or if from this respected teachers and qualified. I know that all of you here, great teachers, ladies and gentlemen, doctors, or with your different excellency. I think that I believe in my sense and in my bones that you are far better than I. So you can share your ideas and your thoughts about what Dr. Khalid proposes here. So, but this definition, this as far a little bit from what I've known, okay, or what I know. So if there's anybody, the wider umbrella is approach, really, not the strategy. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hanan.
Yeah.
I told you, Dr. Khalid, you're gonna make this discussion is really debatable.
Yes, I also can add a very short idea about the style. I think the style could be related directly to what is going to be done by the teacher in the classroom. So each teacher he has his own style, but not each teacher has his own. We cannot teaching strategies. These strategies cannot be taken as subjective. It's something objective. Yes, but teaching styles, yes, you can differentiate your styles according to the levels of your students.
Yes, and even you look at us. Everyone of us here has his own way of teaching. So everyone has his own way of style, right? So your style in teaching is totally different from the way I teach, and so on. So thank you, Dr. Hanan, for correcting me, because I told you from the very beginning that correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, the style could be modified. Yes, you can modify your style according to the level of the students, or even according to the environments of teaching. You should, yes, if it's a good teacher or true teacher, you have to follow this way, that you have to change your style of teaching according to the level of the students. While we are talking about large classes, now here we are talking about the large classes, okay? So definitely you have to change your style of teaching.
Thank you, Dr. Khalid. This is the gist of what I'm talking about, is matching a student or adjusting a student to match learning, or match learning to adjust students.
Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah,
clear.
and this is the core concept of what we are talking about.
Yeah.
So it's really, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. We have also method, which is between approach and strategy. That's it. Yes, that's right. Those who are in the field of ELT, they can tell us more, by the way. If your background is ELT based one, so you can tell us about that, and I would be glad to listen too.
Okay, can I talk?
Yes, you can talk, yeah?
I'm Dr. Hanan. First of all, thank you for your informative lecture or discussion. But my question is, you talked about different learning styles of students and how we should first classify the learning styles. My first question is how to classify or discover the learning styles. Is the survey enough or adequate to discover different learning styles? I am sure that all students or any class is with a number of students with different learning styles. But now, let's imagine or suppose that I know that there are different learning styles among my students. Now, practically, I have a class of 70 students with different learning styles within the time of or duration of 2 hours. Okay, and as you mentioned, we have so many different methods. How to use specific method, or of course, it's impossible to use all the teaching methods we know to teach students or deal with the large classes within the period of or duration of 2 hours. How we should behave with the students using a different teaching methods, or how can we match the different methods or choose among the different methods to teach about 70 students during the duration of 2 hours. At the same time, our goal is to get them involved, to get them active, motivated at the same time. No sound, no sound, no voice.
Okay, if the voice is not there, can you hear me?
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Thank you, Dr. Hanan. You made it as clearer than crystal, okay? So when talking about this, actually, how should I do that as a teacher, okay? Or yes, my role as a teacher is to look at them differently. And this is refers back to what I gave at this last session, if you attended. The last session was about DI, I mean the differentiated instructions. So here I can assign students according to the groups that they want, because some of students, I felt that, and I practice this while teaching, because some students, they tell you, doctor, I'm so sorry, I would like, can I be alone? I would like to work on my own. Some of them, they can tell you, teacher, can we work only in twos? I mean, together, per work. Some of you, they welcome working in team, okay, teamwork. And this is what we stated clearly, that together, everyone achieves more. So when they team up, you know that this is their own learning style. This one way. The other way is while teaching, you can look at the phrases. If the learner uses such phrases, and these are clear-cut example or answers for how do I know my student, which style best suits them, okay? So let me listen to this. I like listening. So this is auditory, okay? So I can differentiate through these ways. And I think this area is very innovative and accept creativity, so other teachers can tell us more. This is what I do have for now. Thank you, Dr. Hanan. Hopefully I answered your question, but I will welcome anyone who has any brilliant ideas to tell us and to share with us.
No, it is, I'm sorry. Is it a problem of large classes, large number, or problem of motivation, or problem of different learning styles, or problem of engaging students?
Okay, it's not a problem, but it's an issue of teachers that should have all these characteristics. Okay, because here you have to be jack of all trade and master of all.
It's
Do
a
you agree with
problem.
that? Because here we don't have to be a master of none, so we have to be a master of all. Do you agree with that, Dr. Hanan?
I think mainly it's a problem of large number of students, large classes.
Yeah, it's large classes. How can you handle them?
Number.
But we can, because I do learn about a saying says that where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but for
Okay,
me, these are
may
the
I?
different ways. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for just raising this discussion, Dr. Hanan.
Okay,
Thank
may
you.
I add a point here?
Yes, Dr. Rahman. Yes, you are highly welcome.
Yeah, regarding the question which was raised by Dr. Hanan, I think that, yeah, she is correct, she's right, because teaching 10 students is not like teaching 20, teaching 20 is not like teaching 30 and 70 and so on. So whenever we have a large class, so teachers always face difficulties, okay? So the difficulties is going to be challenged when we have different abilities, when we have what? Different abilities for the teachers and different learning style for the students. So in this case, the teacher should do his job in a very appropriate way and try his best to facilitate the learning process. We know that students' learning strategy or styles, here I'm speaking about styles because it is individual term. Okay, whenever it comes to styles, that means we are dealing with individual students. So we cannot deal with every single student in a class which consists of 70 students one by one. So this is very difficult. But as you said that, Dr. Akram, you can make the students in groups. In this way, you can manage it and manage the time. She speaks about how can we do that in 2 hours. This problem cannot be solved in one lecture. It can be solved in a term or academic year. And that's all I want to add it here. Thank you.
Thank you. What you did add is a value added, Dr. Uthman. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for Dr. Hanan, for raising this question, which is debatable and very controversial question. I like that. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Hanan and Dr. Uthman. Yes, does anybody have a question, or is there any question to be asked or comment? And yes, you are highly welcome to share. Yes, hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah, does anybody have a question to share? I know that sharing, we all do know that sharing is caring. So I love to listen because just talking is, so when you have big ears, so you have to be thankful that because God endowed us and bestowed us with 2 big ears. So that's why I'm thankful for this. So I'm eager to listen. It's great that there's still newcomers who are joining us. So I'm so glad that you are here. It's 24 participants, which is really great. Does anybody have a question, or is there any question to be shared or to be asked? Okay, so to cut it short, or to cut the long story short, if there's no questions, no comments, so let's wrap up and wind up this meeting. Hopefully to see you in physically rather than virtually soon, inshallah. I'm so thankful and really delighted to have you all here, and thank you for sharing this with you, or sharing the session with you and attending this session. I'm so glad that all of you are here. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Dr. Uthman, for attending the session, and you are the co-host here and the representative of the PD unit. So thank you all, Dr. Hanan and Dr. Faiza, and all Dr. Taqwa, okay, and all those who attended the session. I'm so thankful, those who are writing down. Thank you very much indeed, Fatim Hassan, and all of you. Thank you very much indeed. May Allah bless you. Have a blessed, joyful night. See you in the upcoming days, inshallah. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, I would like to thank you for the good
Yes.
presentation today. Yeah, it was very fruitful and informative, and we hope that we are going to have more sessions with you soon, inshallah. Okay, for the others, if you have any question regarding the BD, okay, I'm going to have some time from this very good session from Akram. If you have any question regarding the small talk or presentation, I'm here to answer all those questions. Feel free to ask, okay? If you don't have question, Dr. Akram, okay, you can feel free to leave. Thank you.